In the flickering shadows of a world buried in secrets, what if the whispers of an ancient prophecy were more than tales spun by the fireside? What if you were among the chosen ones, destined to unveil the divine energies within, their whispers of destiny echoing from generations past? For Alara, a 25-year-old seeker, traveling through the cacophony of a bustling city, these questions lingered like a soft melody in her heart. Each moment she spent yearning for purpose intertwined her life with a mysterious search for the very essence of existence that promised transformation, not just for herself, but for the entire world. In the heart of a city that seldom sleeps, where the hum of life mingles with the rustle of forgotten dreams, Alara navigated the labyrinthine streets, searching for something just beyond her grasp. At 25, her soul felt fragile, as if it carried the weight of 100 unfulfilled dreams. But in the stories told by her grandmother of the chosen ones, guardians of ancient wisdom, possessing untold powers, Alara found solace. These tales, filled with enchanting characters and magical revelations, ignited a spark within her, a longing for connection with a purpose that transcended the mundane. One cold evening, as Alara unwrapped the delicate pages of her grandmother's Berklaw journal, the air shimmered with an electric anticipation. The faded ink danced before her eyes, revealing a world rich in spiritual secrets and profound transformations. Simple sentences leaped off the page, each a heartbeat of wisdom urging her to awaken to her own potential. The chosen ones, her grandmother had written, are not chosen by fate, but by a conscious choice to accept the calling buried within their spirit. Each one holds the keys to their own destiny. Alara felt the stirrings of recognition deep within an echo of a life she had yet to live. Her fingers traced the contours of the faded letters, and the journal seemed to pulse with energy. That was when the first vision enveloped her, a shimmering light, vibrant and alive, filled with swirling colors and soft whispers that spoke of connection, unity, and the power of collective awakening. What if I am one of them? She mused aloud. What if I could awaken the powers within me? The thought was intoxicating, and yet, with it came a rush of self-doubt. What did it truly mean to be a chosen one? Her grandmother had always emphasized that every story had its trials, its shadows lurking just beyond the light. Alara shook off the thoughts that tugged at her mind, those familiar companions of fear and uncertainty. She sank deeper into the pages of the journal, captivated by the spiritual practices detailed within. Meditation, affirmations, energy healing, each practice offered a gateway to the divine, a promise of awakening the latent abilities that lay dormant within her. As days turned into weeks, she developed a ritual of her own, a sacred commitment to awaken the chosen one that she sensed within her. Each morning, she would rise before dawn, the city still cocooned in silence, and sit in quiet contemplation, breathing deeply as she imagined the divine energy flowing through her. The fear that once suffocated her now transformed into anticipation for a journey she felt called to embark upon. It was during one such meditation that the boundaries of her reality began to dissolve, revealing glimpses into a vibrant world filled with potential. She envisioned herself standing among a gathering of kindred spirits, each radiating their unique energies, united in purpose and strength. The memory of her grandmother's stories pulsed with life, suggesting that she was indeed meant for something greater. And then, one fateful day, she stepped into a bookstore that felt like a hidden portal to another realm. The air was thick with the musk of aged paper, and the soft glow of candles created a warm embrace. Each spine of the book seemed to whisper secrets, drawing her deeper in, until an ancient-looking tome its cover embossed with symbols reminiscent of her grandmother's teachings, captured her gaze. With trembling hands, she opened the book, a rush of energy coursing through her. The words leaped out, resonating with an urgency that made her heart race. It spoke of the chosen ones, not merely as protectors of knowledge, but as catalysts of change. In unity lies their strength, it declared, embedding itself into her very soul. The army of chosen ones was rising, and Alara felt the unmistakable tug of destiny guiding her toward this unseen collective. Thus began her spiritual renaissance journey, not just to uncover the truths etched in her grandmother's journal, but to embrace the calling that swelled within her like a tide, eager to reshape the very fabric of her existence. As the first rays of dawn pierced the horizon, Alara stood before her window, the warm light wrapping around her like a gentle embrace. The city was slowly waking, and with it, she felt a renewed sense of purpose vibrating within her. Each day since that fateful visit to the bookstore, Alara had immersed herself deeper into the teachings of the chosen ones. The journal was no longer just an object on a shelf. It had become her sacred companion, a map leading her through the uncharted territories of her own spirit. Determined to call forth the powers promised within those ancient pages, Alara set about incorporating the teachings into her daily life. Meditation was no longer a distant concept, but a lifeline to her awakening. She created a sacred space in her small apartment, an altar adorned with candles, crystals, and the journal itself. As she sat cross-legged on a soft cushion, the world around her faded, and she delved into a realm where the boundaries of reality blurred. "I am open to receive," she would whisper to herself, a mantra that danced on her tongue each morning, punctuated by the beating of her heart, a reminder that she was indeed a part of something much greater. But with each unlocking of her spirit's potential came new challenges. In her meditative states, she began to sense the presence of dark forces lurking in the unseen corners of her journey. Shadows that whispered doubts into her ears, reminding her of the fears she desperately tried to silence. One evening, after an especially vivid meditation that filled her with light, Alara confronted the darkness head-on. "Show yourself," she demanded, her voice steady. With that challenge, she felt a chill sweep through her, a reminder that confronting one's fears often leads to disquiet. Visions flashed before her, images of spinning chaos, failure, loneliness. These were the roots of her insecurities, the very shadows she had been fighting against. The realization swept over her like a cold wave. She was not just battling external forces, but grappling with her own internal demons. Those whispering notions that she wasn't enough, that the world was too daunting for a single soul to shift. Then, a soft yet powerful voice emerged within her, echoing her grandmother's words, "The chosen ones don't fight alone. They gather in unity to illuminate the path forward." Alara suddenly understood that her journey was not meant to be solitary. With renewed determination, she sought out others who shared her thirst for truth. She began attending spiritual gatherings and workshops, where kindred souls gravitated towards her like moths to a flame. It was in one of these circles that she met Sam, a charismatic healer whose laughter was like music, and Maria, a wise woman with eyes that sparkled with the light of deep understanding. "When you find others on the same path, everything shifts," Maria would say, her voice a soothing balm. "The strength of the collective amplifies our light, elevating us to heights we could never imagine alone." Inspired by their bond, Alara felt a shift within. Together, they embarked on a sacred mission to explore the depths of their spiritual practices, trying everything from breathwork to energy healing. Each session deepened their connection, both to one another and to the higher planes of existence. As they meditated, Alara experienced profound shifts that would often leave her breathless. One day, while delving deep into a guided meditation, she found herself immersed in luminous streams of energy that encased her and her friends in a beautiful cocoon of light. She could see their spirits intertwining, each one contributing unique colors to a divine tapestry that spoke of unity and collective purpose. In that moment, she felt an exhilarating transformation. No longer was she just a seeker, she was becoming part of something monumental. An understanding settled within her. The more they came together, the more they amplified their powers and opened gateways of realization that would have remained shut in isolation. However, the darkness never lingered far behind. Soon there arose a palpable tension, a sense that something was stirring in the ethers, seeking to intervene in their blossoming luminosity. Late one evening, as they gathered in their circle, Alara sensed a heavy presence loom over them. Shadows danced at the edges of their light, whispering venomous doubt, sowing seeds of distrust. What if this is all a delusion? An anxious thought snaked through her mind. What if we fail? In that instance, another flash of clarity broke through, igniting her resolve. She voiced her fears to the group, and instead of frustrations, they responded with support and grounding. Sam squeezed her hand, and Maria replied, "These doubts are not foreign. They come with the territory of awakening. We must rise together, shine our lights, and illuminate the shadows." With their energies woven together, they discerned the nature of the dark forces beckoning at the threshold of their joy forces that thrived on fear and division. They named the darkness and faced it head-on, understanding that acknowledgement was their most potent weapon. Each group meeting transformed into a sanctuary of empowerment, where heartfelt stories were shared and vulnerability was embraced. They shared fears, weaknesses, and hurts, not just as individuals, but as a collective willing to break barriers and inspire one another. Alara felt herself growing immensely, a flower unfurling its petals to embrace the sun. There was strength in numbers, but more profoundly, there was an unparalleled support system that shielded her as she prepared to step into her role as a chosen one. Each meeting forged their spirits into a solid bond, creating an iridescent shield capable of repelling any darkness. As the weeks unfolded into months, Ilara's inner journey illuminated pathways long obscured by self-doubt. The journal of her grandmother lay open beside her, breathing life into her quest, their stories converging across time, a testament to the power of collective awakening. She began performing rituals not just for herself, but for the unity of their group, creating ties that resonated far beyond the confines of their circle. And yet, lurking in the darkness was a truth unknown to them, a force intent on extinguishing their light. The vibrant energies they were nurturing would soon attract attention, and Alara sensed a storm brewing on the horizon, one that would test their resolve, resilience, and very purpose as chosen ones. One serene afternoon, while basking in the golden embrace of the sun at a nearby park, Alara's heart swelled with gratitude for the connections she had forged. As she sat in a circle near a gnarled old tree that seemed to stretch its limbs toward the sky, she felt the timeless wisdom emanating from its bark. The earth beneath her hummed with life, urging her to reflect on the journey thus far. "Remember the first time we gathered?" Maria's voice broke through her thoughts. Alara raised her gaze to meet her friend's eyes, which danced with a spark of mischief. "You were so full of uncertainty. Look at you now." You've blossomed into a beacon of light for us all." Elara smiled, touched by Maria's words, but beneath the surface, ripples of doubt began to swell. "Am I really?" she pondered inwardly. Just as she was about to voice her concerns, Sam joined the conversation, his vibrant aura infusing the air with vitality. "We are greater together. Each of us holds a vital piece of the puzzle, and you, Elara, connect us to the spiritual universe. But we must push deeper." "You feel that, don't you?" he asked, tilting his head with an inquisitive look. "Yes, I do." "A force growing stronger, almost like an impending storm," Elara replied, her voice barely above a whisper. Their laughter dissipated with the wind as a sense of gravity settled over them, prompting a silence that hung heavy in the air. In that moment of stillness, Elara knew they were at a pivotal juncture, their collective energy glistening with potential, yet whispering of challenges ahead. As the days went by, the group deepened their rituals, seeking guidance from the universe through meditation and journaling. Each session ushered in visions that wove together their personal paths, showing interconnected threads that revealed a rich tapestry of purpose. It was during one of these moments that Elara experienced a spiritual revelation setting fire to her soul. One evening, nestled in a meditative trance, she found herself in a realm of swirling colors, a vivid representation of energy made manifest. In the center stood a being of pure light who emanated love and wisdom. "You are the guardians of a powerful legacy, Elara," the ethereal figure spoke, the voice reverberating through her very core. "But with great power, there comes great sacrifice." Elara's heart raced as she absorbed the directness of this revelation. The being continued, "You must ready yourselves for this mission. Trust in the bond you have created, but remain vigilant. There are shadows seeking to fracture your union, threatening the awakening of the chosen ones. You must embrace your fears and doubts to rise above them." Awakening from the trance, Elara's mind swirled with anticipation and anxiety. She felt a heavy weight of responsibility settling upon her shoulders. Unease gripped her heart. She worried about the battle yet to come and the sacrifices it might demand of them. Would she be able to carry the burden that destiny decreed? The path seemed both exhilarating and foreboding. That night, Elara wrote feverishly in her journal, documenting the vision and her thoughts of spiritual revelation meant to serve as guidance. She chronicled the powerful messages in vibrant detail, the Inca balm to her spirit. Yet, she didn't want to alarm her friends too early, so she resolved to wait until they were all together again. Weeks rolled by like waves, uninhibited and relentless as their bond flourished, yet the storm Elara sensed loomed ever closer. As the full moon approached, casting a luminescent hue over their last gathering, the atmosphere electrified with unspoken truths. Sitting in their circle, Elara finally shared the vision from that momentous evening. As her words flowed, anointed by the energy of the cosmos, Sam listened intently, while Maria's forehead creased in contemplation. "We must prepare ourselves, our spirits, for whatever lies ahead," Maria finally said, determination etched across her features. But it was Sam who spoke, cutting through the air with conviction. "Whatever challenges come, we stand together. Let us not fear the shadows, for together we'll shine like the sun." Emboldened by their unity, they developed rituals to strengthen their bond initiation ceremonies that honored the spirit of the chosen ones. Each week, they would delve deeper into their practices, meditating on their intentions and commitments, forging a sacred pact to ignite their collective power. They engaged in symbolic rites that reaffirmed their purpose, channeling their energies to build resilience against the encroaching darkness. but as they lifted their spirits higher, becoming beacons of illuminated strength, Alara could not shake the feeling that malevolent forces were looming, intent on testing the resolve they had so ardently built. Then, in what felt like a celestial orchestration, word reached them that a gathering of seekers was being convened just beyond the city limits. At this enigmatic assembly, others claiming to be part of the chosen ones were invited. The air buzzed with possibility and hesitation as Alara pondered the significance of this new development. If they are true chosen ones, we must align with them, expand our circle. But if they do not share our intent... Sam's voice trailed off, and they exchanged cautious glances. This thought haunted Alara in the nights that followed. What if there were imitations among them? Dark energies masquerading as seekers of light? What if the gathering served as a trap for the unsuspecting? Does our fear fortify us, or does it guide us toward ignorance? Maria questioned during one particularly reflective discussion. We must trust our instincts while remaining cautious. As the day of the gathering drew closer, Alara felt her heart racing. She struggled against the clutches of anxiety, within which lay the unanswered questions. Would they find true allies or sow the seeds of division? Finally, the day arrived. With a sense of purpose igniting her core, Alara led her friends toward the gathering site. The sun dipped low in the sky, creating a tapestry of hues that mirrored the blend of emotions coursing through her. There was a strong sense of hope intertwined with trepidation, yet she remained steadfast in her belief that the chosen ones would illuminate the way. As they approached the site, a large bonfire flickered in the distance, illuminating faces that sparkled with an eager glow, both beautiful and unnerving. Alara took a deep breath, letting the warmth wash over her, hoping it wasn't the beginning of a dark prophecy unfolding. Little did she know that the convergence of energies was far from coincidental. They were walking directly into the embrace of dark forces, concealed as shimmering dreams. The atmosphere at the gathering was electric, a mix of pulsating energy and palpable tension that coursed through Alara as she stepped into the circle of seekers. Flames danced in the bonfire's heart, illuminating faces adorned with anticipation and curiosity. Each individual present held a unique story, a spirit longing to connect. Yet in the air lingered an unsettling sense of duality, a promise of hope, overshadowed by the specter of uncertainty. As Alara and her friends entered the scene, they recognized familiar energies, and a few bright souls waved them over. The eclectic group welcomed them with open arms, a mosaic of colors intertwined by the collective intention to evolve. It is good to see others on this path, a woman named Ariadne exclaimed, her long, flowing hair cascading like a waterfall of gold. Her voice resonated with sincerity, yet there lingered an undertone that set Alara's instincts on edge. Soon, discussions erupted as seekers shared tales of their journeys. Alara listened intently, drawn into the narratives of awakening, transformation, and battles against darkness. Yet, amidst the camaraderie, a voice deep within her cautioned against over-reliance on others. How do we know who is truly aligned with the light? Alara voiced finally, drawing curious glances. Sam stepped forward, sensing the shift. We must pay attention to the energies, the vibrations each person emits. True seekers radiate transparency and compassion. Mark, a tall man with an intense gaze, spoke up. We are all part of the same tapestry. But beware of those who speak in absolutes, those that are wrung by fear. The night wore on, and Alara felt an enchantment mingling with Aroni's strange tug-of-war within her soul. As the bonfire crackled, illuminating the faces that glistened in the twilight, a new presence emerged from the shadows. This figure stood tall, with an air of authority that made Alara's heart quicken. A woman cloaked in ethereal black approached, to stark contrast to the joyous hues around the fire. She exuded a magnetic energy, drawing curious whispers. "My name is Valara," she announced, her voice smooth as silk, yet edged with an unsettling resonance. "I have come to guide those willing to embrace their true powers, to harness darkness as a means of transformation." A ripple of enchantment danced among the attendees, and Alara felt the shift of magnetic pull towards this enigmatic figure wrapped in shadows and allure. She watched as others leaned closer, captivated by Valara's words like moths drawn to a flame. "Why should we embrace darkness?" Maria challenged, her resolve unwavering. "Light and darkness exist in balance, but we do not need to rely on the darker energies to become powerful." Valara's smile widened, revealing an allure steeped in mystery as she replied, "True power derives from understanding both sides of the spectrum, the duality inherent in each of us. Ignoring the darkness merely denies a critical aspect of your existence. Embrace it, and you will unlock untold potential." Alara felt a chill run down her spine. The air thickened as Valara's influence spread through the gathered crowd. For a moment, it felt as if shadows crept at the edges of the bonfires, flickering light, a reminder that even the most compelling words could hold deeper, darker intentions. Despite her inner turmoil, Alara sensed a separate maternal energy from the group. Those she had grown to trust remained grounded. Sam's voice broke through the whispers, adding clarity to the chaos. "We have come together and cultivated our energies through light and unity. We don't reject that which we don't understand, but we must not place ourselves in jeopardy, embracing that which could unravel us." The tension peaked, electric and heavy, when Valara stepped closer to Alara. "You, young seeker, spark interest in me. You bear the essence of a true chosen one. Why not explore your potential with us? Together, we can redefine the boundaries of existence." Alara swallowed hard, her instincts heightened as she met Valara's gaze. There was darkness there, a seductive invitation that echoed the very fears she had confronted months ago. "What would that entail?" she asked, forcing her voice to remain steady. Valara leaned in, her words a velvety caress. "Power demands sacrifice. Lifetimes of fears can be exchanged for tremendous abilities. All you must do is step into the shadow with me, allow it to envelop you, and become the change you wish to see. You could lead the chosen ones into a new era, unburdened by loved out." Around them, others murmured in agreement, intoxicated by the potential rewards promised by Valara. Alara's heart raced, emotions clashing within her. Fears surged as the collective energy they had built began to fray at the seams, unraveling under the weight of temptation. "No," Maria's voice rang out, fierce and protective. "True power does not arise from deception and manipulation. Divine guidance from shadow may bring collapse. We must remain steadfast in our principles." The group rallied, their bonds strengthened in opposition to the darkness Valara offered. The fire flickered and crackled with energy, illuminating their resolve. Alara took a deep breath, channeling the strength she had cultivated in their ceremonies, her spirit radiant, unwavering. "We are not defined by our fears. We transcend them by recognizing our true selves," she declared. Valara's expression hardened, the allure replaced by something colder, sharper. The shadows cast long across the gathering, and Alara could feel a tempest brewing, a tension that spoke of an inevitable confrontation between light and darkness. As the night wore on, the air became charged with opposing energies. A choice lay before Elara and her friends: to succumb to the seductive promise of power through the shadows, or to embrace their true essence as chosen ones, walking the path of light, rooted in unity and love. With every word exchanged, the fine line between deceit and truth blurred, and Elara knew they had crossed a threshold, an irreversible step into a battle not just for their own souls, but for the very identity of what it meant to be chosen. The flames of the bonfire flickered as if mirroring her heart, igniting a firestorm within that reminded her of the battle yet to come. It was time to confront the shadows that threatened to engulf them. As Elara and her friends stepped closer to the gathering, the demons of anxiety turned into a chorus of uncertainty. The bonfire flickered ominously, casting dancing shadows that seemed to reach out and grasp at the light surrounding their circle. The joyous laughter and camaraderie swelled around them, but beneath it lay an undercurrent of tension ready to erupt. A series of introductions followed, with each newcomer presenting themselves as seekers of truth and light. Yet Elara felt a gnawing doubt. She could sense certain energies that felt enigmatic whispers slithering through the air, casting veils of uncertainty over their intentions. There was a magnetic allure to the group, but something told her they weren't all what they seemed. Moments turned into hours as discussions sprang up, yet Elara noticed the dark figure of Valara lurking nearby. Her presence cast a long shadow even through the boisterous mingling of seekers. Disturbed, Elara discreetly drew closer to her friends, forging a united front in the face of the ambiguity creeping around them. The gathering was intended to foster connections, to empower chosen ones in their respective missions. Yet, with every shared story came another layer of deceit, as whispers of strength intertwined with thicker shadows. The walls of protection they had built began to strain, echoing with the strain of outside influence. "Stay vigilant," Elara whispered to Sam, her heart racing as Valara finally stepped forward to address the crowd. "The shadows are still lurking." Taking center stage, Valara's voice dripped with allure as she proclaimed, "You must know that power lies within us all, waiting to be awakened. But it is not without sacrifice. Are you willing to embrace your true roles?" The gathering stirred, a free song of eagerness palpable, as if they were spellbound by her energy. In that moment, it felt as if Alara's worst fears had come to fruition. Her friends were captivated and eager to learn from Valara, enticed by the promise of great power. Elara exchanged worried glances with Maria, who mouthed, "We stand together." The simple reassurance anchored her, yet doubt bubbled beneath her resolve. What price would come with that power? As Valara continued, claiming the darkness was necessary for self-realization, Alara's vision tunneled. The fire crackled louder, each burst of flame resembling her rising frustration. Yet within her heart, a stronger voice emerged, one that whispered of unity, truth, love, and compassion. What kind of power requires the betrayal of oneself? Elara finally called out, her tone laced with defiance. Those invitations to darkness are nothing more than veils of illusion. True power is forged in the light of unity and love, not through manipulation. The gathered seekers paused, their faces reflecting a mix of confusion and intrigue as Valara turned her gaze toward Elara, a flicker of irritation darting across her features. "Ah, the brave heart speaks," Valara sneered, her words woven with venom. "And what do you offer in return?" Marmalade dreams of enlightenment that falter at first sight of shadow. Maria lifted her chin, emboldened by Alara's stand. Love and unity will always triumph over self-serving darkness. You say sacrifice, but we say faith in each other. Elara could feel the temperature of the gathering change, shifting from alluring promises of power to the sobering truth of their own essence. The collective tension coiled tightly as they exchanged glances, a silent recognition shared between them that they were rising together against the tide of shadows. The dynamic was palpable. The bonfire flickered wildly as Valara's expression turned fierce. "Fools, you leave yourselves open to chaos. Seek all the light you want. The true nature of the universe lies in the shadows." As the atmosphere thickened with Valara's words, the harmonious glow that the group had cultivated began to wane. Elara glanced around the faces of those who had once felt like allies, now seemed undecided, and tendrils of uncertainty stretched through their ranks. "For all who wish to reclaim their power, follow me." Valara beckoned, her voice dripping with sinister charm. "The path of darkness offers strength and freedom. The light does not hold the keys for those who choose to cling so tightly to their fears." And just like that, as if enchanted by her summons, a portion of the crowd stirred, captivated by Valara's intoxicating promises. Elara's heart plummeted as she witnessed several of her so-called fellow seekers begin to drift toward her. An instinctual act of walking away from the collective they had built. "No," Elara shouted, routed to the spot. "We are not lost. We rise together, transforming every shadow into a lesson, every fear into a beacon." The words erupted from her, a relentless fire challenging the encroaching darkness. Rallying her own resolve, she reached for Sam's hand, their energies intertwining in a tangible thread of unity. "Our choices define who we are, not the comfort of fleeting power," she continued, her voice a steady flame against the winds of chaos. As she spoke, the energy of her words resonated with those still in the circle, reigniting their spirits against the tempest that Valara had tried to sow within their hearts. With every heartbeat, Elara felt a growing radiance, an unyielding light that pulsated from her core and filled their encircled circle, as if their belief in one another was strong enough to bridge the chasm created by Valara's dark invitation. Then, backed by the warmth of shared intention, Elara declared, "May our light be greater than the shadows cast upon us. Together, we are the chosen ones." As her voice rang through the gathered crowd, she could see the initial hesitations begin to melt away, replaced by strong glimmers of hope, reminding them of the bonds they had forged in light. Seeing Elara's bravery invigorated her friends. Their energies resonated, transforming uncertainty into courage. More speakers stepped forward in solidarity until, like a tidal wave, a chorus of affirmations surged through the crowd. "Together we stand," Sam shouted, drawing ecstatic cheers from those who had remained cohesive. Even Valara couldn't hide her growing alarm. The shadows around her seemed to recoil, as the very essence of the chosen ones began to counteract the influence she held over the gathered crowd. Elara felt the barriers of tension crack, flexibility in the air as courage bloomed, where fear had previously reigned. "This is our story," she urged, directing her voice toward Valara, not out of fear, but to expose the facade. No darkness can extinguish the flame of realization that dances in our unity. We claim our paths as chosen ones. The bonfire blazed brighter, echoing their collective vow to walk through shadows, united in their divine purpose. Valara's expression shifted, a concoction of wrath and disbelief as the tide began to turn away from her deceptive grasp. As chaos began to drown in this vortex of light, she declared fiercely, "You may resist, but the darkness will always return. You cannot sever its connection." Elara's voice broke through, unwavering. And in that return, we will remain ever vigilant. The shadows we face now are lessons, forging us stronger. Stand with us, or be cast aside. The fire blazed fiercely as light met dark under the sprawling, starry sky. The decision lay at their feet, one that would shape the essence of their unity forever. They were not merely fighting for their own spirits, but for something grander, the very essence of all seekers standing on the threshold of awakening. In that moment, Alara recognized the significance of their battle. It wasn't merely a struggle against darkness. It was a defining moment of purpose that would transform their destinies, their choice to rise as one would resonate through time, igniting the very spark for all chosen ones to follow. Teetering at the edge of the gathering, Alara knew they were entering an era of belief in collective power that defied the shadows and drew strength from love and unity. As they prepared to confront the greater darkness looming, a force that had sought to undermine their resolve, but instead fueled their awakening. As the energy crackled in the air, the confrontation between the chosen ones and Valara reached its fever pitch. The bonfire blazed higher, its flames reflecting the fierce determination in Alara's heart. She felt the power of her friends surging beside her, an unbreakable force rising from the ashes of doubt, each member embodying the very essence of the chosen ones. Yet, as they stood united, Valara's presence loomed darker, challenging their resolve with unyielding intensity. "You think you can resist me?" Valara's voice dripped with scorn, a sharp dagger cutting through their proclamation. "I offer true power. One does not become great without embracing the depths of darkness. You, Alara, are at a precipice. To lead, you must sacrifice your connection to the light." Alara felt the weight of her words. They were more than just threats. They were temptations, beckoning her to question everything she had fought for. The shadow of doubt whispered sweet nothings, its voice seductive and persuasive. But with every pulse of fear, she felt the heart of the earth beneath her feet, resonating with the teachings that had flooded her spirit. She could not yield to the darkness. "I will not become what you offer," she shouted, the words of fiery declaration igniting her essence. To embrace darkness is to forsake the truth we've built, a truth forged in honesty and love. Each syllable burst forth as a brilliant light, illuminating the shadows that Valara tried to weave around them. At that moment, a deep inner struggle erupted within Alara, battle against her own vulnerabilities. Memories of her fears flooded her mind, those moments when she had felt small and invisible, lost in the chaos of doubt. Would it be easier to surrender to the seductive power promised by Valara? The shadows loomed enticingly around her, thrumming with untold strength. Alara trembled, feeling the pull of her own insecurities. "Join me, Alara." Valara extended her hand with an alluring smile, her darkness radiating an eerie beauty. "With me, you will unlock your true essence, your potential unbound, no limitations." For a split second, Alara hesitated, caught in the storm of her conflicting emotions. But then she remembered the faces of her friends, the laughter they had shared, the light they've cultivated amidst the chaos. As if reading her thoughts, they stepped forward, forming a protective barrier, their energies interwoven like a glowing shield against Valara's encroaching dark. "We are stronger together," Maria proclaimed, her voice steady as hope anchored them. True transformation requires courage, not a coward's retreat into shadows. With those words, a wave of collective determination swept through their circle, every heart beating in rhythm against the fear that had dared to creep in. Alara felt her spirit soaring, her fears dissipating against the bright light of unity. As their energies combined, a vibrant tapestry of colors erupted around them, illuminating their purpose, their unity, stronger than any darkness around them. The fire danced and flickered, igniting their resolve. Together, they would not allow the shadows to define them. Alara stepped forward, the vision of their spirit growing brighter with each heartbeat. She knew what she had to do. She had to confront her deepest fear, her doubt that she could ever lead them to true awakening. Summoning strength from the bond they had nurtured, she raised her hands in solidarity, channeling the divine light flowing through her. In that moment of clarity, she embraced the sacrifices of her journey, the tears shed for herself and her friends, and the lessons learned amidst the struggles. I have faced the shadows within me, and I know that together we can shine far beyond what the darkness offers. As her voice rang out, the flames tore through the heavy air, illuminating Valara's surprise. The residual shadows began to wane, retreating under the brilliant radiance of their combined will. Valara's facade cracked, her true nature revealing itself in fury. "Fools, you know not what you walk away from," she hissed, her grip on the shadows slipping in the face of their collective brilliance. With each heartbeat, Alara felt authentic power surge through her as strength, born not from submission, but from love, unity, and sacrifice. As the fire reached new heights fueled by their newfound resolve, she declared, "We will walk our path as chosen ones, bound not by fear, but by the trust we share." As the gathered seekers rallied behind her, chanting their affirmations, Alara felt waves of energy crashing around them, freeing the very souls ensnared by Valara's dark influence. There was no turning back. This was a tipping point. The epic battle between dark and light surged forward, the flames of their unity casting vibrant shades of hope against Valara's deception. And as Alara stood grounded, unwavering amidst the torrent, she embraced the stakes elevated to their peak, knowing they faced their greatest spiritual challenge. To surrender would bring their great awakening, yet together they had reversed the tide, channeling the light of their collective spirit. In that climactic moment, Alara understood that power drew from the balance of darkness and light, but true strength arose from the boundless love and connection they carried in their hearts. As the shadows started to dissipate, a wave of relief washed over her, knowing they would emerge stronger, dashed together as the echoes of their unity resounded against the backdrop of the vanquished darkness. The flames of the bonfire flickered steadily, illuminating the faces of the chosen ones. Alara stood amidst her friends, a quiet sense of victory flowing through her veins. They had emerged from the storm, their spirits entwined, like vines climbing toward the sun. No longer merely seekers, they had become warriors of light, guardians of an awakened realm. Valara, once a formidable force, had disintegrated into the shadows, leaving behind whispers of doubt and darkness that the chosen ones now understood would always linger on the periphery. But they knew that resilience would light their way forward, a journey marked by the strength found in love and unity. Alara could feel her heart swell with an indescribable peace. They had forged their path, illuminating not just the night but their lives. The darkness had been an opportunity, a test that had transformed them. From mere acquaintances into a collective that embodied purpose and power together. United, they shared a newfound awareness of the responsibilities that came with their gifts. As the last embers of the bonfire began to cool, a sense of anticipation enveloped them. They knew their journey had only just begun, with the experience of confrontation leaving an indelible mark. They understood the vital role each played on this path as champions, beckoned to guide others through darkness and to foster awakening. As they stood together, under the vast expanse of stars glittering above, Alara felt a soft pulse of something extraordinary unfold within her. It was a calling, a resonance echoing through the universe, an invitation to embrace others who too sought the light. "We must share what we've learned," Alara murmured, her heart echoing with the intention. "Use our story to awaken others who may be wrestling with their own shadows." Maria nodded in agreement. "We'll create sanctuaries, spaces for seekers to unite, to illuminate the truth that exists in the connection we've forged." Together, they envisioned a network of gatherings, where seekers of the light could gather to share stories, experiences, and wisdom, keeping the fires of hope alive across communities. As thought turned into intention, they vowed to act as conduits of peace and love in an ever-darkening world. The air was thick with promise, and Alara realized that their roles as chosen ones were not simply about overcoming darkness for themselves, but of moving forward as lights of transformation for others, guides heralding the way for those ready to explore their divine essence. The journey into the unknown lay before them like a blank canvas, waiting to be painted with colors of unity and awakening. Alara knew the road would not always be easy, yet she felt a sense of deep trust in the connection they had cultivated. As they prepared to leave the gathering, her heart swelled with gratitude for every moment, the triumphs that had woven them into a family of light. With time, they would continue to confront doubts and temptations and challenges scattered across the horizon. But Alara also recognized something profound in this journey, that every trial would serve to deepen their resolve. Each shadow would teach them how to embrace the light, and every step taken would lead them to those who still sought answers. As they walked away from the gathering, a sense of belonging enveloped them, warm and profound. Alara felt that, while they had fought against darkness, they had also danced with the shadows along the way, knowing that life's beauty often lay in the delicate balance between light and dark. They were champions, not just of power but of love, a collective echo, carving a path forward for those ready to awaken their own divine potential. Together, they would carry the flame forward, not as individuals battling their solitary battles, but as an unbreakable bond of chosen ones, sparks igniting the world around them. And as the stars shone brightly against the night, each glimmer sang of the promise they held, unyielding dedication to share, uplift, and inspire. Little did they know, somewhere on the horizon, other seekers awaited their light souls, yearning for guidance, ready to begin their own journeys toward awakening, just as Alara had once done. The beauty of being a chosen one was not only about discovering their power, but in the ripples of change they would continue to create, illuminating the universe in ways yet unseen. With this understanding settling into her spirit, Alara smiled softly, knowing this was just the beginning of a grand adventure, a journey into the depths of infinity.